I want to talk about this nonsense of the Army Corps of Engineers and what it means. Because again, the notions are being floated out here without explanation. They come out and they survey the lot. And they don't say, oh, okay, this is non-jurisdictional. You get a gold star, Mr. Dolan. Go ahead, build. There's no problems. They don't do that. They don't get involved in that. They make a determination under the U.S. Waterways Navigation Act as to whether this wetland, and it is a wetland, by the way, and they determined it to be a wetland. But they determined it to be a non-jurisdictional wetland, which simply means that it doesn't fall under the federal government's purview per the U.S. Waterways Act. And so Mr. Dolan doesn't have to go through the process of permitting with the federal government. That doesn't mean it's okay. It doesn't mean there's no issue with drainage or flooding. It doesn't mean any of that. My last comment to you is this. I don't know whether this collection of sort of misnomers that are being floated out there is just accidental. I think it is. I believe it to be. I want to believe it to be because this is my neighborhood and you're part of our local government. I mean, I live in the city of Davenport, but you are part of my local government. You're my neighbors. And this is the most available form of representation most of us in this audience will ever be able to participate in. The most available form of representation. You can't just look, and this is to electeds too, you can't just look at the bare minimums here and say we're satisfying the law. Because you have a constituency, even though you're not elected, you still have a constituency, and you're looking at part of it right now, and you have not just a responsibility, you have an obligation to look at what is on the ground, not just what is on a map generated by staff. And the fact that staff has approved this already doesn't mean that you're required to or that you should. In fact, I would suggest, I would recommend, and I hope you go with this. These folks are asking you to stand up for them. They're asking you to stand up for something. They're asking you to stand up for something when standing up for something isn't necessarily easy, but you are their recourse. You're not going to destroy Mr. Dolan's project or stop the progress of it by giving this a recommendation of no. It's still going to go to council, you know that, and they're still going to examine all the political avenues of it anyway. I'm not asking you to consider the political. What I'm asking you to consider is more than just what you're hearing from staff, because you're not getting the full picture. And, you know, I'll give you this as my last comment. Here's proof that you're not getting the full picture. How many of you are aware that there is a well 20 feet from this property line? You know why their hands are up? It's because they own the property where the well is. It's 20 feet from where almost 11 acres of land drain into that one spot. Now, I'm not saying you can't figure out what to do with the well. What I'm saying is you weren't aware of it, and you wouldn't have been. That's what I'm saying to you. You can't just think of bare minimums as presented. As Mark rightly said, I don't think he meant it in this way, but as he rightly said, zoning language is interpretive. It's how they are applying it to a particular set of conditions. It isn't a big rule book where you flip open the big book of Bettendorf zoning and start checking boxes. Okay, Mr. Dolan, check. Yep, it satisfies the zoning language. I'm sorry. This needs to slow down. It needs to have the kind of analysis that's called out for in the comprehensive plan. And I would ask that you do just that. Either table it or send it forward with your recommendation of no, and let the issues of it be worked out by the electeds. That's my recommendation. I want to thank you for the time.